I started recording.
Okay. So today our agenda to object store connector, we will discuss about object store. We will cover default object store, custom object store, then component of object store module, common throw messages which object store component basically throws, and some limitation that object store has. So coming to the next slide. This is something about object store connector. This is a particular module which store the key value pairs, and as per our requirement, we can retrieve and delete as per requirement. So Mule uses object store whenever it needs data persistent for later retrieval. Mule uses object store internally for various filter routers and process that need to store between messages. By default, object store connector is not present in Mule palette, so we need to install it from any point exchange. Uh, Currently, Mule using dependency. This is a Maven dependency of object store connector, and it's having 1.2.1. This version is currently available for object store. So coming to the next slide, this is the default. We have two type of object stores like default object store and custom object store. Default object store has the capacity that is persistent and always available to the app without any configuration. In our flow, we can just leave it as blank. That is the default object store. Other than that, we have custom object store, and custom object store has two type of operations, like one is in memory, another one is persistent object store. So in memory object store allows us to store objects in memory at runtime. Generally the data get lost when the runtime is shut down. So this is a in memory object store. Other than that, we have persistent object store when we have mule persistent data, and object store is explicitly configured as persistent. So mule create the default persistent stored in the file system. It's slow but still reliable, as restarting does not lose any kind of data. So these are the two type of object store. And after that, we have some key features in object store, that is entry TTL, expiration interval, and max entries. These are some configuration properties that we need to create when we will configure our object store. So entry TTL is the time to leave that's stored in millisecond, or we can change it accordingly. Or other than that, we have expiration interval that specifies the expiration check in millisecond. We have max entries that specify the maximum number of entries in our object store. So these are the some common components which we have in our object store module, that is clear, contains, remove, retrieve all, retrieve all keys, and store. So clear is something when we want to remove all the contents in our object store. It returns nothing, as it will clear everything from the object store. After that, we have contains. Contain is whether we have a specific key is present in our store or not. That's why we use contains. It returns a boolean value, like when we have something, some key present, it will return true. Other than that, it will return false. Then we have remove. Remove is associated with any given value. If we given something, then it will remove that particular key, and it also returns nothing. It will at as this removes the particular key. After that, we have retrieve. Retrieve has it retrieves the value stores in a for a given key, and its return type is any. um, After that, we have retrieve all. Retrieve all is the key value. Retrieves the key value pair in the from the object store, and its return type is object. We have retrieve all keys, which will list all containing key in that particular object store, and its return type is array of strings, and the string will contain the particular key values. After that, we have store. Store is the basic component that it will store the values in the given object store, and it will return the payload type, whichever payload we will store in the object, so it will return that one. So these are the some common error message which the object store will return. Like when we encounter some errors, it will return key already exists, store not available, invalid key not found, null value, this kind of error messages. So key already exists when the Mule app tries to store an object, but the object already exists, has a value for that. So in that case it will return the key already exists. After that we have a store not available. It cannot if when a condition happens like it cannot access the object store at that time, then it will return that key not store not available, that kind of error message. We have invalid key, the supplied key if it's not valid, in that case key cannot be null or blank, in that case it returns invalid key. We have key not found. The object store must access a value, but the supplied key does not exist in the object store. In that case, it returns key not found. It has null value. A null value was supplied in the object store, and null values are not supported. In that case, it returns a null value error. So we have some limitation in our object store. Basically in the real world, when object store is not a solution of using the universal data storage, it cannot replace the database. It for some time it can store some amount of data, but it cannot replace a database. So most importantly, does not support transaction access and modifications. It allows unlimited number of entries, no limitation in total size, but we can store 10 MB after each stroke or each trigger. In a free trial, transaction per second can be achieved by the object store module. So coming to our demo point, I have created these flows for this explaining the object store. So these are the first we will go with the store component. This is the one. So we have first of all we need to download this means the module from Exchange, and we can use these basic components. So first of all, this is the listener. This is the basic configuration. 8081 port I have configured here, and this is the base path we have given as OS store. After that we have the store component. We will store whatever payload we will have, we will store that in this particular object store. For the key we are sending as UUID, unique identification ID, for each of the keys, and as a payload it will as a value it will send the payload whichever we were sending from our postman or our client. So here I have created a custom object store, and it's contains this basic configuration. I have configured max entries as 100, entry TTL as 5, and it's 30 means it's the unit is in second. Basically if we don't have specify the these uh, numbers, then we can it will be defaultly configured, and in that case maximum TTL will be 30 days. And in between 30 days if we change any kind of timing, like if we change it like in between 28 days or 30 in 29 days, in that case it will extend for more another 30 days. So that is the uh, idea here. And this is the small requirement for this particular configuration. So let me run this one. So it's deployed. For the store, let me see, I don't have anything in my object store still now. I have created this payload to run it. I will store this payload. So I have hit, let's say, two times. And after that, this store component will store the object store and this particular payload with the unique identification ID. And this is the basic payload which I have sent as the request payload. So store, this store component will work to store in this object store component. After that, let's say we want to retrieve whichever we store there. So for this reason, I have created the object store configuration here. The same configuration which we have for the store component, the same configuration we used here for object store configuration. And here I have just change the media type as JSON, and we'll see what will retrieve. So hitting from the retrieve endpoint, the same configuration we have, like all, this is the endpoint, and get method I am using. Yeah. So two times I have hit it there, and it's populating with a unique identification key. It's created, and it's storing the payload here. So two keys are created and storing the values. After that, let's go to the next point. Yeah. So this is the one. This is the third component which I am going to describe. This is the retrieve all keys. From this component, we will retrieve all of the keys which we have already stored in our object store. So we have take the object store basic configuration which we are using from the previous two also, store and retrieval, the same object store configuration we used here, and transform each as JSON. Let's see what is written. So here only I have configured the endpoint and take the method as get.
Soma, can you disable the dark theme?
uh,
Screen is not perfectly visible.
okay. Yeah. So here,
Okay. Meanwhile, Soma, I can see some query also in chat.
sure.
Okay, let me answer those. So last query is what is TTL? Okay, this TTL is nothing but it's a time to live. Okay, so whenever you store any data in key value pair in the form of key value pair inside object store, as you know, object store is temporary storage. So there should be some like time expiration time. After that, that key value pair will be deleted. Okay, so there you need to define how much time you want to store that key value pair in object store. So that time you need to give there. And by default, your TTL will be 30 days. If you are not providing any TTL, maximum object store can hold data for 30 days. After 30 days, it will be automatically deleted. Hope you are clear with your question. So next, okay, that appearance already changed. Default object store. Okay, default one, like whenever you select this object store one, by default it will create. So Soma, can you show that
Yeah,
configuration?
yeah. So if we not storing this one, okay, let me take another one flow, mm, like this one, or anything like clear. So here, if we can select anything there, it will take is at empty. This is the default object store. We can't configure it, but at that time also it will work as a persistent object store.
Okay, and one more thing, last question is there. How TTL is different from expiration interval? Can you go to property tab?
Yes. So these are the two.
Yeah. So here we have two things. One is TTL, another one is expiration interval. Okay. TTL will tell us like how much time your key value pair will be there. Okay. And in object store, there they have one internal job which will run in every expiration interval. Let's say you have given expiration interval 1 minute. So every 1 minute, one job will run, and that job will check like how many key value pair has completed their TTL. So it will identify all the key value pair who all has completed their TTL. So it will delete those records, those key value pair. So that is our expiration interval for object store. So Amrendra, are you clear with this?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So from for the retrieval, we retrieve all the keys. It will store as a array, and it will take the keys as a string here. So that is the return type of this retrieve all component. Just changing the. So it's deployed. Mm. Okay, so for remove, we have used here. Can you see it? Guess it's not visible. Okay, so here I have used. In this flow, I have used the listener, and after that, use the retrieve all, which will retrieve all the details which is stored in the object store. After that, I have the transform message I have used here. So here I have retrieve all the keys by using the plug function. You can also use the retrieve all keys component here, and inside this for each loop. Inside this for each scope, I have used the payload. It will send every objects at a time, and it will store it in a variable. I have named the variable as retrieve key. After that, there is a retrieve component. Um, I have used. So this retrieve component particularly will fetch a particular retrieve key from here, and it will retrieve the particular object from the object store. Here I am just logging the payload. After that, I will remove the particular object store. So here the basically concept is whatever retrieve all component will say, it will go here by each of the, it will send each of the objects there, and it will remove uh, particular objects from with using this remove component. So let me store something first. Yeah, so from retrieve all we will see here is one component I have okay, so some more times I have also created, and let's see what retrieve also will return. It returning 3 times. After that, uh, let me see what my endpoint will do. It basically will remove all the components there. So first, when I hit it, it is printing. After this retrieve, it will generate all the payloads, and as we can see that it's giving us the keys which is returning by this retrieve component. Let me hit again. So now it's got cleared, and if we want to retrieve all, then we can see that it's having nothing details there. So it has basically removed all the keys. So after that, let us try this clear component. We have it in our palette as the object store component. So this is the one. Here we have also used the default object store module, the configuration, and after clearing, we will see this message that data has been cleared. Okay, so let me hit it. I have already stored something. Yeah, basically, initially it's empty, and I will store some of the data there. I have it three times, and in the retrieval I can see that it's populating three times. And from the clear endpoint I will hit it and clear the object store. So we can see the data has been cleared, and again I will try to retrieve the data. So here you can see that it's empty, nothing is there, so it got cleared now. After this clear component, we have contains. So should I move to black screen? I guess it's having some issue.
Okay. Till now it's working fine, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
You
okay.
you need to restart the studio if you have changed the time.
Yeah,
Yeah, better you can restart. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, so it's clearly visible now. So now we will use the contains component here. So first of all, we are retrieving all the details here. Let it come. Mm. So the default configuration we have used here also, and retrieving the keys from the plug from the plug function, and one by one we are sending the objects here with the using of this for each loop, and we are storing the each object here using the name retrieve key using this variable. So in contains we will store we will see if that particular key is present in the object store or not, and it will print the payload in the console. After that, it will send in contains we have some advanced target variable we have set as OS contains. So whatever the response we will get, like if it's present it will send as true, or if it's not present it will send as false. So that thing we have captured here and will print in the uh, studio. See, I have run the API.
Okay. Suma, meanwhile, I can see one query, like what is difference between clear and remove function?
Yeah, so remove is something which will remove the objects one by one. In particular, it can remove particular objects also, and clear will clear everything from the object store. Yeah, so let me hit store something in the object store. So from retrieval, we will see that it's retrieving the three of the with the unique identification ID. It's created three IDs, and let us see if it contains or not. So the key which is retrieving from the for each scope, it's sending as true. That means it's present in the object store. So there's a concept here for the contents. So these are the basic modules and components which we have described till now. After that, I have created a demo which is for object store watermark. We will achieve watermark through which object store. So for this one I have create a trigger point here with a scheduler, and the frequency I have given 10 seconds. After that, we are retrieving, we have used the retrieve component. It will store the last key, and the last key default value will be 0. When it will hit the first time, it will store is as 0. Let me create another one object store uh, configuration here. So I have used this object store watermark configuration, and after retrieving it, it will set the retrieve as the value. Here I have set target value as a variable. I have implemented here as a watermark variable, and I will print those variable here as the what is the value of the watermark till now. So by default for the first time it will show is as 0. After that, I have created one database connection. So for that one, I have used clever cloud, and here I have the demo table. So let it load. Here I have only one data till now, so let me add another one data, like insert. I will give the value. I have inserted this row, and when I'm browsing, it will create, means there is two data present in our database. So the id I have selected that the id will be greater than id, and id value I am sending as the watermark value, which I have given as a advanced variable in our retrieve component. So this is the database select configuration. I am fetching data from here. After that, I will print in console or whatever payload I will retrieve from this select component. I will print those things in console. After that, we are storing this data. So maximum value of this id, I have a column called id here. So maximum value which it will get from that particular database collection. So it will get the maximum value, and it will store as a last key from here. And here let me again, I have created this watermark just now, this configuration, and I am using that one for storing the object also. So let me run this. Okay, let's saving it. Let me see what we'll achieve from this watermark. Yeah, so first time when it's run, it has stored everything, like whatever data we have in our database, it has stored that one. And you could see the for the first time the watermark value is 0. After that, when after 10 seconds it's run, it had fetching the maximum value from this particular collection, and it's take the watermark value as 2, as is written all the collection from the database. It is to sending again, when hitting it's sending as a empty array from the backend. So let me push some more data in the database. So I will insert one more column there, one more value there. Yeah, it's inserted. So let me browse. So three values are there. Let's see what it returns. So now, as this watermark has achieved to 2, after that, when it's triggering that point, it's only fetching the next value which is updated there in the database. And after that, you can see that for the next execution, the watermark value has reached to 3. And as we have no more refresh data, so we are getting the empty object as response here. So this is the case. We achieved watermark to the using the database and our object store components. So this was the pretty much about the demo. Coming to the slides then. So these are the particular reference which we have taken some concepts from these references. And after that, this was pretty much about object stores. So um, my presentation ends here. So if you have any question, you can ask me.
Okay, let me check chat. Do we have any question which we haven't answered? Okay, at this moment it looks we have answered all the questions from chat. So if anyone has any other question, you can ask quickly. So we'll give 5 minutes for a QA session. If you have anything in your mind, you can ask. Not only related to this object store, if you have anything related to Mulesoft, you can ask. Okay, one thing I just want to highlight, the main purpose of this object store is we use this to hold temporary data. This temporary data can be any kind of security token or some temporary data which will be used by other instance or other process. Okay, or we use this what like object store to hold our watermark value. Okay, so these two use case I have seen very frequently where we are using object store. But apart of that, if anyone has seen any other use case where we are using object store, then yeah, you can also highlight those. So like whoever attending this session, they will get idea where exactly they will use object store. Okay, one more thing I just recall. So this object store, we have two kind of object store. Okay, object store V1 and V2. Okay, so if you are using clustered environment, then you must need to go through object store V2. And the reason behind this, if you are using object store V1, then that object store, like that storage will be created inside your worker. Okay, and in clustered environment, like you are deploying same application or same application on two worker. Those two worker are completely isolated, like they are not sharing anything. So if you will use object store v1, then both the worker will have their own object store. Okay, in that case there may be possibility of you will get inconsistency of data. Okay, so in that case, if you are using cluster environment, you must need to use object store v2. So object store v2 will be created outside of worker and that can be shared by multiple workers. Okay, that's why it's recommended whenever you are using clustered environment, means you have more than one workers for same application, then you should use object store v2. This is also a key point which you should consider whenever you are using object store. Okay, I can see one more query. Is there any possibility by using object store we can get the data from database and need to send the response to target system one by one? Yeah, as a temporary storage you can use like first you can retrieve data from database, then you can put inside object store and then you can send one by one. If you want, you can technically it's possible, but again based on scenario you need to take decision. Naresh, is it okay for you or you want more clarification?
Yeah, Ravi. Requirement is we need to get the data, around 25 records, and we need to send the data to target system one by one.
One by one in same call or
By using for each, we can send, right?
for each then simply you can retrieve from database and you can actually I'm not clear with your use case. Can you explain your use case in detail?
There is a requirement like we need to get the data around there is a 25 records. We need to change the status from N to yes, N to yes. So first we are picking the N data records up to 25, and we need to send the data to target system by one only, because in the target system it will not accept 25 entire data payload. It will accept only one payload, one record payload only.
Okay, in that case I think better to go with some async processing like I'm not sure like if you want to send one by one response that is not possible for REST API. Okay,
Okay.
so in that case what I will suggest, like you need to go with some, you need to use some temporary storage. You can use object store also or you can use some queue mechanism also, and then you
Mm.
need to develop another API which will be called by source system one by one to get response.
Instead of object we can use VM keys also, right?
Yeah, queue also you can use, since queue is also used for this async processing and that is more reliable. Okay,
Yeah.
again you need to see like your organization have queue license and queue setup or not. If that setup is there, then more preferred will be you should use queue. If that setup is not there, then yeah, you can use object store as a temporary storage, and then you need to develop another application API which will be called by source system one by one to get the response.
Yeah. Okay.
Abhishek, do you have any better solution for this, or anyone else? If you have any better solution for this use case, then you can share. Okay, if not, then fine. So, hope Naresh, you are clear with your use case. If you can give me this use case in written, maybe I can share my contact details.
Yeah, Ravi. Yeah,
Give
Ravi.
me,
I will ping you separately. Have your contact details with me. I will ping you separately in
yeah,
WhatsApp.
let me think on this part. Maybe we can get more better solution, but at this moment, I can think this can be possible.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Ravi. Thanks for your comment.
Okay. Now, next question we have from Abibe. Can you explain the object store V2 we configure runtime? How are these related? Okay, yeah. For object store V2, when you will deploy your Mule application on Cloud Hub. Okay, one more important point for object store V2. It's applicable only for Cloud Hub deployment model. This object store V2 is not applicable for
Active.
on-premise one.
Yeah.
It's supported by only Cloud Hub. Okay, so whenever you will deploy your Mule application, at that time you will get one checkbox. Okay, you want to use object store V2 or not? At that time you need to select that checkbox to support this object store V2. Abebe, I hope you are clear with your question. Okay, for Sandhya, Abhishek already answered. So Sandhya, you will get like we have one playlist. There you will get all the meetups video, which is like done by Hong Kong Meetup. OS also used in cache. What do you mean by OS? Operating system?
Uh,
Object store only, he means, I guess.
Okay, object store also used in cache. Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. This is also, yeah, cache is also like you can say it's a kind of caching we use for temporary storage. Okay, so there also we use object store. Yes, this is also good point. Okay, asking for help, want to read the multiple Outlook email ID, subject and content based on the subject and email content need to process as per the requirement. Can I use Office 365 connector? Could not get any demo. Okay. Okay, this is our like different topic, but anyone want to answer this question? If anyone has idea on this O365 connector.
Raj, not sure for the connector, but I think there is some connectors to receive email when, as and when you receive it in your mailbox. So I think you can use that, irrespective of directly having a 365 connector.
Yeah,
There,
even okay,
there are
go.
connectors which can be used as a listener, like on update or on new. Okay, like POP3 we had. So I'm not sure, like never tried that, but you will get connectors to as soon as you will get an email in your mailbox that can be come to your Mulesoft applications. You can just check on that one once.
And Raj, one more thing. For O365, they provide their API also. Okay, so recently we have integrated with O365 to send email and to send attachment. So we used their REST API instead of using this O365 connector. And the REST API is quite simple to use. Like you can use HTTP requester to call those API. So try with their REST API also. You will get very good documentation for this O365 APIs. So just Google it, like O365 API. So you will get very good documentation there. They have explained all the like operation they supports.
Sure, Ravi. I'll check on that APIs, API for Office 365 connector.
Yeah. What is the size of data? Okay. So I think for each record, maximum size limit is 10 MB.
10 MB.
Yeah, that is 10 MB. But it's for one key value pair. Okay, you can store multiple key value pair of size 10 MB.
Yeah, limitations, like I remember from my past projects where we were able to just put 1 lakh data in the object store and not more than that. Okay.
Yes, yes. In property also you can configure how many key value pair you want to store. By default value, maybe it can be 1 lakh, what Abhishek mentioned. But you can also configure those value in property. So maybe Soma, can you share your screen? And in that property only we have first option, like number of key value, like how many records you want to store. Just go to property tab. So here you can see max entries. So here you can put how many key value pair you want to store. Max limit maybe 1 lakh, as Abhishek mentioned, that you can explore on document also. But you can define your own max entries. Okay, anything else anyone want to discuss? Not related to object store only. You are not limited to object store only. If you have anything else, you can discuss. Okay, if not, then like we are good to start our trivia. Okay. And before trivia, like I just want to highlight, like after this event, you will get email from Mulesoft, like Mulesoft team. Okay, they will ask for feedback. Okay, and there you will they will ask for some suggestion also, like what other topic you want to see in coming days. So you can put your suggestion, like what all topic you want to see as a Mulesoft meetup event. Okay, and there will be some feedback about this event, and many more things will be there. So yeah, after this event, immediately, like within 10 minutes, you will get that email. Please feel free to fill that feedback form. So based on that, we used to try to improve our this event and all. So that will be helpful. So just spend like 2-3 minutes of time to fill those form. Okay. For recording one, I think Abhishek already shared the link. So once this event will be completed, within one day, I will upload those video and I will share in Meetup page also. I will provide link and everything. Okay. So now I think we are good to start our trivia session. Okay. So let me stop the recording and I will share my screen.